Hi guys, Gary Allard here, and I'm really excited to be bringing you this case study and interview with none other than Stephen Gilbert. Stephen has been really crushing it online for quite a while now. He's been winning affiliate competitions, creating awesome products that sell into the thousands of copies, and he also has his own high-ticket products that he sells regularly. Now this is going to be epic, so without any further ado, let's get straight into this. So Stephen, welcome, and just in case any of our listeners haven't heard of you before, please take a few minutes to tell us a little bit about yourself and your experience in internet marketing, and also about your high-ticket products and how much you sell them for.
Sure, man. Thanks for having me on the call.
You're very welcome.
So I've probably been doing internet marketing for almost 5 years now. I kind of started in 2009, but didn't really take it full time until I got laid off from my office job. I was a secretary, and I was like kind of disappointed about it because I remember 2 weeks before I got laid off, I'd gone into my boss's office with a scheduled meeting, and I said, "Look, I know this. You guys just bought this company, and I know when people come in and buy companies, they lay people off. Should I be looking for another job? Because I had bills to pay." And he looked me in the eyes and he said, "No. You're doing great. We're going to need your position." And I was like, "Cool, because I like this job, whatever." Well, 2 weeks after that, I got laid off, and I was pretty, I guess, it kind of shattered my perception of the whole work hard and people will, take care of you thing. And so I decided that I didn't really want to do that anymore. So I started really focusing on internet marketing and trying to figure out a way to work from home, because I'd always been on computers as a kid. Like, that was my thing. I can build computers. And I was like, if I can build a computer, I should probably be able to do everything else too. So I started really kind of just went head first into the whole thing. And here we are. I've run 3 different companies. Started off with a transcription company and then moved over to a more internet marketing-based company where I focused on advertising and advertising for other people. And then that eventually, somebody taught me about how you could actually train people with what you know. And I was like, well, I have a lot of experience in this, so maybe I could train people. So then I started releasing case studies and info products of the things I was doing for revenue and the things I was doing for clients. And here we are now to the point where I release a few products a year. I have a bunch of products that I sell year-round. So I have like a portfolio, which happens to include a couple high-ticket products. My main high-ticket product that I'm selling right now is email marketing consulting / coaching, and I sell that for $5,000 for 1 month. So it's kind of like, when I started selling products and training people, I realized pretty quick that my customer list was going to be my valuable asset. So I spent a long time testing things out and optimizing my processes because it's a pretty decent revenue stream. And I thought at the time that was just normal, that's what everyone was doing. But then I realized there was a big gap in the marketplace. And a lot of people just don't understand email marketing to the extent that I do. So I put together that, and I've been selling that now for 4 or 5 months, 3 or 4, something like that. And it's just been a blast. It's probably been my most favorite thing that I've done so far, and the most valuable. So
Wow, sounds great, Stephen.
Yeah, it's been great.
So how much are you actually selling those coaching services for?
Yeah, so I sell it for $5,000 for a month of consulting, but I actually guarantee that they'll make their money back, which a lot of people don't do. But I've been doing this for so long that I can, so I guarantee that. So sometimes, we go through the month of training, which it comes with 2 calls a week, an hour a call, and then they get one-on-one support via Voxer and Facebook. But after that, it really becomes a much more hands-off thing. Sometimes, they'll ask me after the month is up for advice about this or that, and I happily give it to them because, like I said, I guarantee their investment. And so far, I think I've had 7 or 8 people pick it up. I have a 100% success rate, so it's really been...
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah, it's really been a great experience. 2 of my students have been able to actually quit their job. That one worked at a bank and then the other worked at an engineering firm, and they both quit with what I was able to teach them.
Wow, 2 people actually quit their jobs after a matter of 3 or 4 months. That really is phenomenal. Actually, it's life-changing for those 2 people.
Yeah.
Okay, so when selling your coaching services, who would your ideal clients be and how would you find them?
Right. So my ideal clients are people that are already successful in one way or another and have an email marketing list. I don't spend much time teaching people that. And so I knew pretty early that I wanted to focus on people that had a list but didn't know what to do with it. And so I ended up creating a Facebook group that focuses on email marketing. And then I funnel people into that group, and it's just completely free to join, but I knew that the people joining it would be people who had questions about email marketing. So combine that with my normal friends list on Facebook, and I've only gotten these students from Facebook. I haven't paid for any advertising or anything. It's just straight up networking. I started connecting with people and other coaches that teach how to run your own information product business. And I was like, hey, funnel people to me, and I'll give you a commission if someone purchases. But I actually haven't had anyone recommend anyone yet where I can actually give a commission. This is all of my students have come straight from Facebook.
Now, how do you go about closing a sale to your coaching?
A lot of people have a sales script or some sort of phone script where they'll call them up and try to pitch them. But for me, I'm a really kind of no pressure guy. I've been around long enough and have the results of my own success and own business that I just really have a no pressure type deal. So I'll make Facebook statuses advertising the coaching and have my students comment on it and talk about their results. And then I had them make video testimonials showing their results before my consulting and after. And so I'll make that Facebook status to get people interested and ask them to send me a private message. And then on private message, I'll start sending them testimonials from my students on video. And then I'll just say, whenever you're ready, we can jump into this. There's really, it's no pressure. And then I put them on like a follow-up schedule. So if I don't hear from them for 3 or 4 days, I'll say, hey, man, do you have any questions, anything I can help you with? And I'll do that for 2 or 3 weeks. I'm just a big fan of the no pressure tactic because I don't want to pressure people into something that they're not going to be dedicated to. Like that's part of the reason I've been able to have such a high success rate is I let people make up their mind. I'm not trying to convince them. I kind of let my testimonials and then my results do the talking itself.
Like attraction marketing.
Yeah.
How do you close your clients via a call? How do you actually structure the call?
I have an introductory call where, we get on there and I let them ask more questions so they can fill me out a little bit better. But even then, it's more just me letting them ask questions and telling them what we cover in the training as opposed to an actual sales pitch. That sales call itself, I focus on their questions and easing their worries because, $5,000 is a good bit of money. So I let them answer questions. I show them my results. I show them student results. And then it's kind of like the car salesman who you expect to be salesy but is just hands off and wants you to check things out. That's kind of how it is. The structure doesn't really start until the training, the training is really structured. But other than that, I just have a really non-stress sales pitch because, these people, they're business owners, they're mostly successful. They can afford $5,000, but I only want them to spend the $5,000 if they're actually going to work. Because if they're going to buy my training and not listen to my advice, that makes me look bad. I like the 100% success rate.
Exactly.
Yeah, most of my customers either come from Facebook or referrals. But the most have come from Facebook.
Wow, that is awesome. You're actually selling a $5,000 product with 100% free traffic. If a listener doesn't currently have a high-ticket product of their own, how would they go about creating one for themselves? And what would it need to have in order for it to be perceived as high enough value to charge high-ticket prices? And while you're answering that, how would they go about pricing that offer?
So there's a couple different ways that you can structure a high-ticket product. One of the most common ones, which is not one that I'm doing, but one of the most common ones is to create a Facebook, like a private hidden Facebook group, okay? And then you put your video training in there. It definitely needs to have video training, like just a bunch of videos talking about whatever you're teaching. And the way this works is they'll put it in there, and then they'll sell this at a little bit lower price point than $5,000. They'll sell it at $2,000, $2,500, and if someone purchases, they get added to the group. Someone makes or the moderator will make a post saying, welcome to the group. If you have any questions, please post them here. And then they'll do that for every member. I think Alex Jeffries actually structures his masterminds this way. So does Bill Hugall. And then they'll do that for every member. And the videos are actually in that Facebook group step by step. And that is one of the best ways to do group coaching, because all the questions stay in that group on individual threads. You get notified when they comment. So if you're looking for like a more group structure-oriented thing, that's the way I would do it. Now, if you're looking for a more one-on-one consulting / coaching type deal, the way I structured mine, I spent 3 or 4 days coming up with an outline on everything that I knew about email marketing. And then I rearranged it kind of like an alphabet. I rearranged it in the order that they needed to learn things to fully understand what I was trying to teach them. You know, with math, you can't jump straight into multiplication until you've learned addition. And so I structured it in a way that here's the base concepts, here's what you need to know, and then here's how you do it. And so I actually just wrote up an outline over 3 or 4 days, and it's something like 19 or 20 modules strong, but that, we cover 2 modules on call. So by the time 8 calls runs around, eight because they get generally 8 or 9 calls a month, we've covered the whole thing. So I do 2 modules on one call, 2 modules on the other, and then in between calls is when they're asking me questions and things like that. So I generally try to keep my calls to around an hour. So if you're trying to make a consulting package, write down what you want to teach, structure it, and then, if you have results from teaching this, definitely share that. At first, when you're trying to get customers, you can try to get them in at a lower price point if you need to, and then up your price point once you get testimonials. But really, it just comes down to positioning yourself not only to day-to-day customers where it would pay less, but to people who are in your industry. You want to be seen as an expert or as an authority, and the best way to do that is to have either student testimonials or some kind of results. So if you have any of those, I would definitely use them.
If you were to advise someone on how to close a high-ticket sale, what would be the top 3 things they must do in order to close a sale? And what would be the top 3 things they should never do when attempting to close a sale?
Sure. So for me, like I said, I have that hands-off thing. So the top 3 things that I do, all right, is I contact them regularly. So if we talk about my coaching and I don't hear from them for 2 to 3 days, I'll contact them again, see if they have any questions and follow up. If they have no questions or they want to talk later, I'll contact them then. So if I find out someone's interested in my coaching, I'll reach out to them 3 or 4 times within 2 weeks trying to get them to close it. So always contact your potential customer. The second thing I would do is make up a mind map, like a little outline, or not an outline, but you know what I mean, like a mind map where it has a bubble in the center and branches.
Yeah, I sure do.
I have one of those for everything we cover. Make up a mind map and send it to your potential client, because that is going to show that you're organized. When someone's asking, what do we cover? They don't want you to spend 15 minutes typing it out. They just want to see a graph or like a graphical presentation. So send them that.
It looks more professional.
Exactly. And then the third thing I would do is be willing to negotiate on price. So especially when you're first starting out, I was priced a little high. And I had a lot of people that were like, hey, that's too high, that's too high. And I was like, well, I'll tell you what, I will split up the payments. I will give you different ways to pay for it. This way you can pay like half now, half at the end, or some now, some in 2 weeks. You need to be able to negotiate, because until you get testimonials or a ton of results, it's a lot harder to command that $5,000 price point. So you can start off at $2,000 to $3,000. Take multiple payment options, split payments up, and then just always be there to answer questions before they purchase, because I'm a big no pressure sales guy. You could come up with a phone script if you want. That works just as well. It really depends on your target audience. Like for me, my target audience is entrepreneurs and people who already own businesses. But if your target audience is up and coming people who don't already own businesses, then you might need a sales script. Just to, sometimes sales scripts work a lot better depending on your target market. If I was to get on a call with Alex Jeffries and say he wants my email marketing coaching, and I pitched him, he would know that. He would know I'm going through a sales call. So just be aware if you think a sales call would be best for your market, definitely use that. Now, the top three things I would never do is I would never, if somebody, like, for example, if somebody messages me about my coaching, I respond immediately because they're thinking about it right then and there. So I would never put off the opportunity to talk to a customer. I mean, there's been times it's been 2 a.m. and I've gotten a message about consulting, and I happen to see it before I go to bed, and then I spend the next hour talking to him because I'm trying to close the sale. So never let too much time pass. Like, if someone messages you, make sure you respond quickly and promptly so that you can get them while they're most interested. Because if they go 12 hours and they stop thinking about it, it could be the next time you try to think about it, they're in a different mindset. And so you lose out on a potential sale because maybe they've changed their mind.
You need to strike while the iron's hot, as they say.
Exactly. The second thing I would never do, I'm not high pressure. I would never just blow them up, okay? To where it's like, hey, come on, you're running out of time, blah, blah, blah. So never use fake scarcity, especially if it's not true. So don't be like, hey, the price is going up by 5,000. This is your last chance to get it at this price, because there's a good chance they're going to see you advertising it at that lower price later on. Fake scarcity. You don't want to start off on the wrong foot and be dishonest. Yeah, no fake scarcity, no dishonesty. And then I guess the third thing I would never do is give up. And I know that sounds cheesy, but it took me 3 weeks before I got my first student, and that's after I spent so much time creating the course. I thought I'd get people right away because of my, experience in the marketplace, but I didn't. I actually had to, keep trying, keep pushing people. And then once people started coming in, and people talk to each other. So if you treat your students right, they'll tell others. So like once people started coming in, they started spreading the word, and then now people come to me a lot. So I don't, I get to spend less time on the prospect hunting. So never give up, and always be honest, because if you're not, people might find out and it's going to look bad.
Okay, now where could our listeners find the best tools, resources, and training about closing high-ticket sales?
Yeah, see, that's a good question. I didn't get much training when it came to closing high-ticket sales. I've just been winging it. There might be some good stuff out there. When I'm researching someone and I'm thinking of purchasing their training or whatever, I'll Google them. I'll Google, their name or their business name, and then rip-off report to see what kind of person they are. I'll Google their name and put scam behind it. And a lot of times you won't find anything. But if you do find something, there's a good chance that they're not the type of person you want to work with. Like, there's some people, even in the internet marketing industry, that you can search their name with rip-off report or scam, and there's a lot of stuff talking about them. If they're treating people who pay $47 poorly, or even like $7 poorly, how are they going to treat you if you go in and try to buy, a few $1,000 package or a more expensive package on high-ticket consulting? So while I don't have anyone or anything I can recommend for training, because the best way for me was to just jump right in, so that's what I did. So I've just kind of been figuring it out as I go along. While I don't have anything I can recommend like that, I will say that if you do find something, just do your due diligence. Make sure this is someone that's going to treat you right and give you the most value for your money.
And let me just weigh in myself here.
Yeah, go ahead.
In Facebook, there's two excellent groups that I'm a part of. One is called The Art of High Ticket Selling.
Actually, I am in that one.
Okay, there you go. And another one is called The Ultimate Achievers Mastermind. And they are both really, really good resources to have. There are a ton of top entrepreneurs on there who sell high ticket offers, and they provide so much value and free information that it's really, really worth signing up to those groups. So Stephen, before we wrap this up, if our listeners want to find a bit more about you, where should they look?
Okay, so 3 places. Facebook, you can add me on there. Just say that you heard from the call with Gary, and I'd be like, oh, cool. So Facebook, I also have a group like The Art of High Ticket Selling, but it's more focused on email marketing. That's called the Postmasters Board. That's also on Facebook. And then my website, which is called soulweb.org. So any three of those places are good ways to reach out to me or just learn about me in general if you so desire.
Okay, well, that wraps up the interview. Stephen, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank you very much for taking the time out to chat and provide great information. I've taken a lot of nuggets out of this myself.
Thanks for having me.
And on that note, we'll wrap it up here and we'll see you in the next video.